if not downright misleading. I don't think the people who make this information is actually doing it maliciously. I swear, I don't think they're like intentionally miseducating you, but it's just interesting how even the people who speak with such conviction and they speak with such determinants and as if they know what's best for you is interesting, man, because you know you can be easily misled by somebody on YouTube just because anybody can get on TV, anybody can get on YouTube and make a channel. I'm gonna show you something real quick, man. I want to show you guys something. What does that say? That says a funding transfer letter of instruction, and that says add change beneficiary. There's people who talk about generational wealth, but they don't have a trust. Did you know it's impossible to have generational wealth without a trust? It doesn't matter if you have $1 million or 10 million or 100 million or just $1,000. If you don't have a trust, none of it matters. Generational wealth, by definition, is money that your grandmother earned and now you're spending, or that you're spending that your kids will or their grandchildren will end up spending. That's generational. Generational wealth. It's impossible to pass money on without some type of trust to protect it. People talk about it's not how much money you make, it's how much you can keep. It's not true. Not entirely true. It's how much you make, but it's also how much you can protect. You see what I'm saying? Protecting the money is really what's important. Protecting it from taxes, protecting it from inflation, protecting it from being stolen from. And when I say stolen, I'm not saying somebody comes up to your face with a gun. I'm saying how much will it be lost to debt that you didn't pay off, and now when you pass away, somebody takes that money because you owe them, because they have liens on property or things like that. So it's interesting to me, though. Everybody has a recommendation about what you should do with your money. Do what you want to do with your money at this point. At this stage, do whatever you want to do. I don't even care. I don't care. I just want you to don't be afraid to question what people often say. And anything worth its weight or worth its value should stand up to scrutiny. If somebody's delivering information, then they shouldn't be offended when you scrutinize them. I'll give you an example. I took my son to the doctor today, and if there's something that the doctor didn't agree with or said that I didn't agree with, then I should be able to question them. And then they should not be offended. Wouldn't you agree? So here's the solution. Here's what I would recommend. I would strongly recommend. If you come across somebody's channel, somebody's video, and they're talking about how you build generational wealth and how they're doing so good because they're investing in stocks and investing in mutual funds and CDs and dividends and indexes and cryptocurrency and real estate and vehicles and businesses, they're talking about all the stuff that they're investing in, then ask them. Here's how you know. Ask them. In the event that you are unable to make this money, in the event that you are unable to sustain yourself, what are you going to do? See, I'm fortunate enough to know that because I worked in the medical field for over 2 decades, nearly 2 decades, I know that people get sick. And if they don't come down with a terminal illness, they'll come down with a sickness or illness that may prevent them from earning the type of income that they once had before, that they were able to generate. So what happens then? Because your bills, your light bill, your cable bill, all that stuff, car note, house note, mortgage, rent, all that stuff still has to get paid. Meanwhile, you're trying to get treatment for this illness that unfortunately that you have to deal with. So there's things like long-term care that a lot of these YouTube, Instagram, TikTok financial professionals, they never discuss. You never heard somebody talk about long-term care. What happens when you, I don't know, you're 50 years old and you get diagnosed with cancer? You have a terminal illness. You have a critical illness where you can't bathe yourself, or you can't dress yourself, you can't feed yourself. What about the time when, I don't know, somebody else passes away and then you come into some money and then in 3 years it's gone? How do you protect it? It's not how much you earn, it's how much you can protect. People say it all the time. It's not how much money you make, it's how much you keep. Yes, that's true, but there's another side of that. How much can you protect? Because you can keep money, and I know keep and protect is one and the same, but I think the language is different. I'm getting ready to go into the bank right now because I have a trust. I have a family trust, and that has everything to do with what I'm talking about, which is protecting what you've built, what you've earned. I got my son in the back seat, and I'm getting ready to turn in this letter to the bank. I know it's probably backwards, but it says funding transfer letter of instruction. Funding transfer letter of instruction. See, when you start, listen, you don't have to have $10 million. You don't have to have $100 million. That's definitely not the case. You just need to know what to do with the money that you currently have. And so that's the letter that my lawyer drafted up. And then here's the form that that I have to turn into the bank. Add beneficiary, add change beneficiary. So instead of me being a beneficiary, my family's trust will be the beneficiary. It's not how much you make, it's what you can protect. That's what matters. See, when people talk about, finances and wealth and all this stuff, they probably know what they're talking about. They probably do. But what does it mean for you? And how do you verify what this person is discussing? How do you know what they're talking about? Ask them, hey man, if you were to die prematurely, that 401k that you keep telling us to invest in, a 401k is only to defer taxes. That's all a 401k does. It's not a savings plan. It's not a retirement plan. A 401k is designed to defer taxes. In other words, delay the payment of taxes. You get paid today, you put a portion of that money of your check into a 401k. 401k is just a tax code, by the way. It's just the number 401k is just a tax code. That's not the type of account it is. But if you make $100 today, if $20 goes into the 401k, then that means you only pay taxes on the $80, not the 20. They see the 20 gets stocked away into this, in this case, the 401k account. And then when you go to access that money later on, you pay taxes on the withdrawal. Now, let me ask you this. How much will taxes be in 20 years or in 30 years or whenever you go to access that money? Do you know? Do you know what the tax rate is today? See, these are the concepts that we also need to know. We need to discuss, especially with Trump's big, beautiful bill that just passed. How does that affect you tax-wise? That bill that passed. See, I'm not worried about it at all. I'm no tax expert, but I am licensed by the state of California Department of Insurance to discuss financial topics. I'm just not an expert in. I can't speak intelligently on tax topics, but I can tell you what I'm doing, and I know what my family is doing, and I know that the tax bill, because I do consult tax professionals, my tax guy is actually not too far from the bank. His office is probably 3 blocks away from the bank. So I know that this tax bill that just passed, this big, beautiful bill that just passed, everybody will be affected. Everybody will be affected by it. It don't matter if you make $10 an hour or you make $100 an hour. Everybody's going to be affected by this big beautiful bill. So again, people telling you, hey man, you should invest in your 401k. Put this into your 401k. Okay. And then what happens when I need that money later on? Are you suggesting? So when I hear people say put this money into your 401k, I think, because that's just, just at this point it's just people just say that now. Put this money into your IRA, to your Roth IRA. Invest this money into your Roth IRA. My question and your question can be as a follow-up: are you suggesting that I hold off on paying taxes today and in turn pay taxes later down the road when I don't even know what the tax rate is? Is that what you're suggesting? See, my baby understands. He's heard this 100 times. He knows. A 401k is just a tax deferment vehicle. It's not a savings plan, nor is it a retirement plan. Now you may be asking, hey Tekk, now what do you invest in? I invest in life insurance. Here's the reason why. It's very simple. In the event that I am incapacitated, if not even saying if I die, but in the event that I just can't produce income, in the event that I just can't make money. See, we're all good with making money. We all know how to make money, but how do you protect it? So here's why I invest in life insurance. In the event that I cannot produce money, my income is protected. I started off talking about long-term care. I know people will get sick. I have a 2-decade history in sports medicine and orthopedics, pediatric sports medicine and adult orthopedics. I know people hurt their shoulder and all of a sudden they can't feed themselves. They hurt their knee and all of a sudden their quality of life goes down the drain because they can't have sex. True story. These are patients that come to me. They're not old by any stretch of imagination. These are young people. So when people say invest in 401k, invest in Roth IRA, here's the reality. Are you suggesting that I just defer the payment of taxes today and in favor for later down the road? A better option, especially if you are of a certain age, meaning you're under 55. If you're under 55, here would be a better suggestion. Everybody's financial future is rooted in the ability to not lose what they have. So life insurance is the foundation. If you're talking about a house, think about how a house is built. The foundation, that's got to be life insurance. On top of that, it's got to be annuities. On top of that, then you start talking about these tax deferral programs, these vehicles like 401ks, and talking about Roth IRAs. Because for one, you only get to put a certain amount of money into those things at all. I got a comment that says, "Man trying to pitch life insurance." Here's the reality. If you were trying to protect yourself or if you're trying to protect somebody else, then how would you go about that? See, I see a lot of people who talk about building wealth and all stuff, but I always ask, do you have children? I have a son. I have a family. I have a wife. I have older parents. I have siblings. I had a lady today. She said that she said she can't go back to her old neighborhood because if she pulled up into her old neighborhood, she might get robbed. Imagine that. You go back to the neighborhood where you grew up in, and because you have a nice car, because you drive, a certain type of vehicle that stands out, somebody might consider robbing you. Think about that. Now, in no way am I wishing harm amongst anybody. What I'm saying is, I sleep at night knowing that I'm with my son right now. He's just an infant. But if I'm on the freeway, I'm in California. This is a high density area. Somebody goes through an intersection and smacks me right in the T-bone. Bam, I die. I survive. Well, here's the reality. I know that my wife, and not just my wife, but my brother, my mom, and I know that those people, they don't have to go and do a car wash to put me on the ground and look silly, because here I am, a grown ass man walking around not protecting myself. Yo, how you gonna be a grown ass man, grown ass woman talking about you love your family, you love your children, and you walking around here with no life insurance? Grown ass adults walking around here with nothing. It's already well known that 78% of people live paycheck to paycheck, and half of the reason why is because, well, they don't know how to save money. It's a reality. Let's see. It says, shout out to Nick Gurr. It said, need to take long-term disability when your employer offers it. It's what saved me when I paid when my back needed major surgery and still able to take it, have an income, 100% worth investment. Absolutely. Lorraine Meyer. See, there's real people who have stories, real adults, right? See, when you get a certain age and you have responsibilities and you are forward thinking and you plan to live a long life, like you don't plan to die when you're 30. No one plans to die when, maybe, I don't know, not me. I plan to live to be 100. But here's the reality. I know, because I have a background in medical science, sports medicine, orthopedics, that I know that your body's not going to hold up. People have a tendency to get ill when they get old. And if you can't earn money, you can't make income. Yo, I'm not sleeping on the streets. I tell you like that. I'm not built like that. I am not designed to sleep on the streets in tents asking for money. That's not me. If you get injured, because again, people, there's a 68% chance that you, especially if you're under the age of 33, if there's a 68% chance that you will need some type of long-term care or some type of disability care in your lifetime. It's not a possibility, it's a highly likelihood that you will need that. He said, worked in personal and commercial insurance field for 18 years, read all the horror claims. It's funny how to me, it's not funny, but to me, it's intriguing to me. How, see me, I'm the type of person that, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'll give you guys a real peek into my real life. I'm the type of person that, see, I grew up with, I was the youngest of one brother, but 4 cousins, basically. I was the youngest of them all. And I saw all the problems. I was a quiet kid, and I just sat and I just observed. But I saw all the trouble that they used to get into. I would see all the issues that they would get into and all the consequences. And then here's what I would do. I wouldn't do it, right? So what did that mean? And how did that translate into me as an adult? When somebody tells me something, you only need to tell me once. You only need to say it once, and I got it. That's how my mind works. Somebody says, like Lorena here says, I injured my back and I couldn't work for 6 months. I damn near got back behind on my mortgage. My car got repossessed. Like, a horror story? Yo, you only need to tell me once, and now I'm doing something about it. I'm that type of action taker. See, some people, you need to knock on their doorstep. You need to bring the drama to their doorstep. Some people need all of this trauma to land in their lap and to piss on their shoes before they make any type of action. That's not me. I've seen it. I've been in a situation where people walk into a hospital and then they don't know what to do. That ain't gonna be, I wouldn't dare put that on my children, put that on my family and my loved ones, and definitely not, I'm not gonna have my wife walk into the hospital looking stupid, asking questions. That's why I have a trust. That's why there's instructions here. In the event that something happens to me, here's what you do, here's who you call. That's why I'm getting ready to designate, I'm officially adding the designation to the bank account right now. All four accounts. The trust goes on as the designation of the beneficiary. Invest in yourself first. That's what the smart people do. Invest in yourself first. That's what the smart people do. And again, somebody only said that once. Invest in yourself first. Pay yourself first. And by paying yourself first, you can put some money aside and things like that. But pay yourself first means to me is whenever I get paid, that money goes directly into my life insurance policy. Directly into the life insurance. No second questions. Lorraine says, no for life at 56. Never thought it would happen to me. Lost my job, my life savings 401k, but at least I had my mark to take out the long-term disability. I thought I would never use it in life, but read the comments. Good, Lorraine Meyer. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Good. 56 is young too. 56 is young. Anything less than, I would say at this stage, 70 is old. Anything under 70 is young still, relatively speaking. That's young. And people get sick at 56. People get sick at 43. Hell, I have a friend who, came down with cancer in her 30s. Cancer diagnosis in her 30s. You got 50 more years, relatively speaking, to live. And what you gonna do for the next 50 years if you don't pass away? Listen, if you guys made it this far, you listened to me talk this far, then consider giving a thumbs up, consider subscribing. This is the type of content I talk about. I also talk about business ownership. That's why I'm mostly known for that, business ownership, notary businesses in particular. Part-time job, full-time job, doesn't matter. Today, you need to own a business as a secondary source of income or a primary source of income. And an automated business is the way to go. That means I can go out and handle business, run errands, be with my son, and meanwhile, there's an automated business operating in the background. In particular, I like notary public businesses because it's immediate cash flow, is paid up front, and the reason why notary public is so crucial and so vital to what I do as a life insurance agent is because I get to meet people in their living room. I'm already in their house. I'm already in their kitchen. And then people who get notary public probably most likely need some type of financial services. So Lorraine Mayer says, taught my son and he knows how to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. That's good. Get your free Slurpee today, 7-Eleven day. I had colon cancer at 48. I'm cancer free now. Opened up a business at 50 years old. Rick Sandoval. That's amazing. Shout out to you, man. Salute to you, wherever you are, Rick. 48 cancer? That's young. That's young. I'm 40. Now, I sleep better at night knowing that if I do come down with a colon cancer diagnosis, that I can accelerate the death benefits inside of my life insurance policy and I won't have anything to worry about. Or I can use the money that I accelerated my death benefits to go seek some advanced treatment so that I can live. See, like I said, I started off by saying I plan to live to be 100 years old. Minimum. Minimum. I'm hitting the triple digits. Now, if you live to be that long, like my man Andre Hatchett says, like my man Andre C. Hatchett says, you don't want to be old and broke. So if you plan to live to be that long, I hope you got some money, y'all. All right, y'all, I'm out of here. Consider subscribing. And again, there's some links in the description if you want to learn more about the business of helping people. If you want to learn more about the business of, if this stuff excites you, here's a real thing. If this excites you and you get something out of this, how many other people do you think would get something out of this? How many other people do you think that you can pass this message along to? There's a level of security that you can deliver to the middle class of this country. And whether you believe that there's a middle class or not is irrelevant. I'm just saying there's a level of security that you can bring to the financial security of this country, the middle class, and the financial security of the middle class of this country. It's very, most people are not 1%ers. Most people didn't grow up with $100 million in their bank account. All right, 99% of people grew up with the opposite way. Lorraine said, my dad passed at 42 with leukemia and left my mom with 6 years old. And damn, and my sister at 12. And he had life insurance policy, thank God, because in those days, the 60s, the woman still raised a child. Wow. See, I hear a story like that. You only got to tell me once. You only got to tell me once. I get it. People, the evolution of the internet, one of the good things about it is that information like that gets communicated like at the snap of a finger. See, in the 60s, somebody might have told you about that, but it was probably maybe one person, you only heard it once. And information didn't travel as fast. But now today, things happen all around the country, all over the world. And the reality is that you have the ability to make a decision and be decisive. Like now, you can make a decision because you hear enough stories, you hear enough of those antidotes, and you're like, damn, I better do something about it. All right, y'all. Thanks for rocking with me again. Click the links down below if you want to be a part of a business that offers that level of security to the middle class. Then I can help you out. Take care, you guys.